And that was the real thing as I look back from my time in football physio. What I think gives me a good edge over a lot of people is the time commitment and the dedication to football is just unbelievable. Like every day, Sundays, Christmas Day, public holidays, you're working. I'd get back from games at 3 or 4 in the morning and I'd need to be in the treatment room at like 9 o'clock the next morning for the players. So the standards and the work ethic that I learnt was ferocious, and that set me up, I think, looking back, more than anything that I learned from a skill point of view. That's what set me up for success in private practice, because I'd had that time I'd had 5 years of those standards, and if you don't have them in professional sport, you won't last. So I had to get very good at my timekeeping, at my just give a fuck attitude, at just, you know, working 15 hours a day, at like getting used to not having sleep or whatever. Like, so now when I run a business, if I need to work weekends, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, it's just, I don't give a shit. It's like whatever. If I need to fly, I need to travel, it's like whatever. If I need to be at somewhere, that's why I'm very much with my staff. It's like, we don't start at 9 o'clock. Like, you know, you start warming up. The soccer game analogy is that the game starts at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, but the players start warming up at 2:20 to be ready for the game at 3 o'clock. So I've always been like that with my staff. It's like, look, you can't just arrive here at 9 o'clock and start work. Like, you need to arrive at 10 to quarter to get ready to start work. There's no possible way you can arrive on my premises, on my field figuratively, and have the ability to start playing straight away. So those little standards and habits and just a ferocious attitude towards work ethic and timekeeping and stuff I've carried with me into being a boss, and I think that's probably helped me more than anything that I could say I learned. You know, I did get to work with some top doctors, and we got to see surgeries and, you know, great rehab programs and so on that I learned, but none of that was even close to the real thing that I got from working in football, which was great work ethic, good timekeeping, and just general whatever attitude. You know, if I need to do it, I need to do it. And I just think a lot of people struggle there. It's like they don't want to work weekends, or, you know, they want easy hours, and fine, some people want that, but it would just irritate the crap out of me.
Would it have been different if you were not in the football team, Paul?
I think so. I mean, I've always had a good work ethic. I've always worked, you know, myself, entrepreneurial business type, from a business family. So I've been brought up. My dad was great, you know, good worker. I've seen a lot of people. I've had good role models in that respect. And I think generally my family, like the Gough family, we're workers. You know, like we've always had multiple jobs, and, you know, it's not the typical 9 to 5 sort of public job or whatever. We've always had a good work ethic. But I think, well, there's an argument to say that I had the work ethic and that's why I lasted. I just think that the discipline, and it got instilled in me for 5 years in soccer to make that a lifelong habit. And I got to see and understand the real sacrifices and the sort of requirements to be a top athlete. I have applied a lot of those things to being a top business owner. That's probably the best takeaway I could give from football, is working in that high level of performance, adapting a lot of those same attributes to business. And then what I require of my staff and the standards I expect from my staff, which makes it very difficult for some people to work with me, because I'm pretty brutal. It's like my boss used to be like, the bus leaves at 9 o'clock. If you're not on, you're gone. The bus is gone, and you have to get a taxi and you have to pay your way down. Many instances where we left the training ground at like 9 o'clock to go to a game, and the two players had been in a taxi behind the bus all the way to like the other side of the country, and they'd have to pay out their own pocket. And he wouldn't let them get on, even if the bus stopped for petrol or for, like, you know, a break. He wouldn't let the players get on the bus. And he'd be like, you have to learn your lessons. And his phrase was, the train leaves at 9:01, regardless. Like, the flight leaves at 9:03. If you're not on it, it's gone. Like, the pilot doesn't wait for you, and that's what he always used to say. So your timekeeping and your sort of standards. If you can arrive on time for a train or a plane with 5 or 10 minutes to go, you can arrive at work with 5 or 10 minutes to go.
So what advice would you give to myself, Paul, like, who don't have any experience in the football team, or?
Well, what advice would I give you? You don't need advice. You don't need to have worked at a football team to develop good habits and standards, I just think, for me, that was what I learned, the importance of habits and standards, that the discipline that is required of a business owner. And it's back to look what we've been teaching here today. Most people have shitty businesses because they have shitty lives, simple as that. They have shitty standards in their personal life, they'll accept shit, they'll accept negative people, they'll accept poor standards of just living, of service. I'm the world's worst to go out for dinner with. Like, I'll accept nothing. Like, if you were my waiter, I'd expect impeccable standards. Like, I'd expect to be spoken to in a certain way. And if I don't get it, I'll kick off in a nice way, in a respectful way.
Yep.
But I won't tolerate it in any way, because Natalie at first used to hate it when I did it, but now she knows I'm going to do it, because she knows that if I tolerate shitty standards from other people, I'll accept them from myself.
You will accept them?
I'll start to accept them for myself. So I refuse to accept it anywhere. Like, when I come to these events and hotels, I'm a total bastard with the rooms and everything. I refuse to accept any standard that wasn't agreed upon. And that's probably the best advice I can give you, is that really your standards in business start with your standards in your personal life. That if you accept people who treat you like shit, you'll get treated like shit in business. If you accept people who let you down, or will abuse your goodwill or trust or whatever in your personal life, or you accept restaurants to serve you shitty food with shitty service, or hotels to give you shitty rooms with shitty, whatever, that didn't meet your expectations, you'll get that in your business life. Now, some people would look at somebody like me and go, oh, everywhere he goes, he's got an issue, whatever. It's like, no. Most of the places I don't have issues, but if I find one, I'll fucking let them know in a respectful way that says that's not good enough. So that when I'm at work, it's exactly the same. There's no difference between Paul at work and Paul at home, at all, but like nothing. How I am in my life is how I am in my business. How I am in my business is how I am in my life. Nothing changes in terms of what I expect, the standards that I want for my life. And I think that a lot of people struggle in life because they just don't have standards. They don't know what they want, they don't know how to get it, they're frightened of upsetting people. They want to be liked more than be respected, and they'd rather have a lifetime of shit than actually tackle situations that, if they did, would improve the quality of their life. And I think that's probably some of the best advice I can give any business owner. But way more important than marketing or sales or whatever, is to actually work out what you'll tolerate and what you're going to accept in your life, and then take that into your business.
Thanks for watching this video, and if you found it helpful, and if you now find yourself thinking, I wonder what else this person can help me with, head over to paulgough.com/books, where you can find my best-selling books, which will show you how to add more profit to your practice. Or send an email to paul@paulgough.com to ask about how we can help you accelerate the growth and profitability of your clinic. And by the way, if you know anybody who would find this helpful, please share this video out. Thanks so much.